What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm going to bring you the test hand combo video for the anti-meta DarkWorld Danger profile I showed you guys the other day. You lot smash that like button way above 50 likes to unlock this version, and today we're going to do the test hands a little bit differently. We're going to do 2 test hands going second just to kind of show you the power and control this deck has, and then we'll do 2 test hands up against a standard Kashtiria end board, which is usually, if we're going to go for the weaker side, is the opportunities to board lock and a macro Cosmo, and then the stronger side will be less cards in our extra deck and more capabilities of OTKs and plays and everything else like that. So after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Our opening hand of 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we are pretty much breaking any board we want. The question is then, how much further can we go after that point? Now, ultimately, what you probably want to do here is you're going to go Lava Golem and you're going to give this to your opponent, clearing off 2 of their interruptive monsters. Now, obviously, if you're against back row, it's a little bit different. That's where your Lightning Storms or Evenlies and everything else wants to come into play. With this, if you feel you're in that big of a threat, you can use Book of Eclipse. If you feel that this could go really, really wrong, then I would also consider setting the Book of Eclipse as well. So we'll reveal the Danger Jackalope. We'll do 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll, 5, 6 will be a reroll, 1. So we hit the snow, so that's a really good one to hit. We had, you know, like a dead Lava Golem and a Greffer that could have been hit as well. So we had good targets to be getting rid of. So we'll go with the Jackalope. Jackalope is obviously going to allow us to draw, and the Snow's effect will trigger, allowing us to search out any DarkWorld card. Now I'm going to go with Genta. Now if I'm up against Kashtirias, ideally your Lava Golem would have got rid of the macro, so you don't need to worry about it, but it is something to consider. We use Genta's effect. This is going to give us Gates of the DarkWorld. We're going to activate Gates of the DarkWorld, and we're going to activate Archives. So you can't really, or you could, but you don't really want to activate it before the Genta, because technically it's not a discard via effect, so you won't be able to get that, but you will be able to get it after you use Gates of the DarkWorld. So we'll shuffle up the deck to make sure that it's fair. We're going to use Gates of the DarkWorld's effect. We're going to discard the Greffer and banish the Genta, or banish the Genta first to be technical. Discard the Greffer and draw 1 card. Broken. On the resolution of that, we've got a couple of chains to go. So we've got Chainlink 1 Greffer as it is mandatory. Personally, I'd go Chainlink 2 Archives and then Chainlink 3 Genta, because then you can chain block this from being ashed. You then bring back the Genta. You'll then use Archives to discard a card and draw 2. You will then be able to use the effect of Rainbow and Greffer. So you revolve Greffer, pop in the Lava Golem. You will then be able to resolve Rainbow, which will allow you to add a level 5 or higher. So obviously in this example, we're probably going to want to go for... I mean, we've already cleared off 2 monsters. If you leave the Lava Golem on board because they've got a 3rd monster you want to deal with, then you can get rid of that as well. So whatever we get, we're going to be able to bounce back if we can get it to the graveyard. Anyway, so let's search out... We've already got the silver. Let's go for a second Greffer just to get them out of the deck. There we go. Now, obviously, if our opponents activate a monster effect or anything at a particular point, we do have talent, so we can look at our opponent's hand, do everything you need to. You kind of probably want Ceruli at that point in order to get the maximum value out of it. But we still have so much more to do. So we're going to return the Genta to the hand by bringing back the Rainbow. We'll return the Rainbow to the hand by bringing back the Greffer. So we've got everything we need to right now. And we're going to be able to use the Genta effect again to search out the 2nd gate of the DarkWorld. This is the reason that I personally only play 2 gates and not 3 gates, because, you know, if you play 3, you kind of want to do the Genta effect 1 more time, but you're really just burning through the amount of cards you banish. That being said, if you do play, like I had a suggestion of Cursed Necrofield, which I thought was a cool idea, if you were able to consistently get cards banished and do that at consistent possible with as minimal cards as possible as well. So we're now going to activate the 2nd gate. We'll use the 2nd gate's effect. Just tell me a little what we've got in here. I could send Rainbow, but Rainbow's not going to be able to bounce anything back to my hand. I could send Greffer to pop a card, but it depends if I've already popped a card my opponent controls. And of course, I could send Silver, and Silver would then guarantee to give me a monster on the board. And the reason I'm going to do that is I still haven't used the Archives effect. So by doing so, I can actually get another level 8 to the graveyard and loop it back even more. So we will banish the Genta. Is it just? I think it's just a general fiend, isn't it? So banish a fiend monster. Just wanted to double check. So we'll banish the Lava Golem, to be fair, because we can keep the Genta in there for the next turn. We'll discard the Silver. We'll draw one random card. Broken. Silver's effect will then return to the hand. Now at this point, I'm probably going to set the talents, and then we're going to reveal the Thunderbird. If we get Thunderbird, it's, you know, almost game. So 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 3, so we'll hit the rainbow, summon down the Thunderbird, draw a card, and then this is game. Well, even with Astral Karibo, that's brutal game. Rainbow's effect will trigger. This will allow us to search out gold. And then what we can do here is you can return the silver to the hand. And we're going to return him for our... sorry, what am I doing? There we go. Return to the hand for the rainbow. It's because I was jumping a step ahead of myself. Because now what I want to do is you want to use Archive's effect to discard the Greffa. This will boost this Greffa by 800. And then this will put the Greffa in the graveyard. You can then bring this back to the hand to summon back this Greffa. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you've got the ability of Astral Karibo, which will give you a rank 8 play as well. It will basically allow you to upgrade... ideally Thunderbird, because I mean this is 3k, this is 3-8, and this is 2-8, so this is already game if your opponent doesn't have anything left on the board. You can Astral Karibo, you can go through the Dragulabon OTK play, or you can just go into a Hope Harbinger. It really doesn't make much of a difference there. And we didn't even use Talents, didn't even use Book of Eclipse, so that is your push for OTK right there and then. You could do, if you really, really wanted to, like if this was game 3 and you're in time, there's your 3 level 8s for the Coach Trainer. But keep in mind, Coach Trainer doesn't let you conduct your battle phase the turn you activate its effect. So if you do that, you're not going anywhere. So you'll get a maximum of a risky 2400 burn and then letting your opponent live a turn. Unless, like I said, it's game 3. So we're going to shuffle this up. We'll do our second uninteracted hand, I suppose, of going at second. And then we'll start showing what a end cash board will be like. So after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 6 for this one will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. And 6 is Salamander. This is actually really interesting because Salamander will give me the ability... Again, if I'm up against Kash, you play this a little bit differently. But with this hand, I can actually pop 2 cards my opponent controls through gold. Gold will summon itself back, and I'll get a Talents play as well. So, Catalyzer effect, we will discard the Ceruli. Ceruli will go to the graveyard and then go to our opponent's field. Ceruli's effect will then trigger to make us discard the gold. Gold's effect will trigger to pop 2 cards our opponent controls and then summon itself back. Now, because technically Ceruli is my opponent, like it's on their field, they're activating the effect, I can activate Talents and I can steal one of my opponent's monsters, I can draw more cards, I can look at the hand, I can do whatever I want, really. So in this one, I'm actually going to draw because I don't really worry about the Ceruli too much, or I could have popped the Ceruli if it was the only one in defense, because the idea behind this is you want to go for your OTK play. So we're going to draw 2 new cards off of the Talents. Genta and the Trading is actually really, really good. So we'll set the Trading just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Now you've got a couple of options here again, because you can discard the Genta, search out a field spell. You would then have to discard the Astral Karibo to banish the Genta, to summon the Genta back to draw 1 card. So that's a long-winded way of being able to do it. It will give you a rank 4 play. Or you can just reveal the Nessie and kind of risk it that way. So it's entirely up to you. Ideally, you don't want to hit any of these off the Nessie, though. That is the big issue. So it's probably one of the ones where you might want to consider keeping Trading in the hand. Another way of doing this, if you're not going to go for the OTK route, which I suppose it might be quite good to show you, is you'll use Astral Karibo, revealing your Daguerres, making it a level 4. And then what you do here is you'd overlay the Salamander and the Astral. You'll detach 2, you'll draw 2 and ditch 1. So Zephyros and Book of Eclipse. So we'll ditch the Zephyros. I mean, I could have ditched the Book of Eclipse. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But at least with the Zephyros Elite, what I can do now is I can return the gold to the hand. Yes, I would take a little bit of life point damage, but that's not the end of the world, because I can now use Genta to search me out the field spell. And it will guarantee that I can resolve the field spell without worrying about the Astral Karibo. So we'll activate Gate. It then gives me access to another rank 4 if I want it to. We'll activate the Gate, we'll shuffle this up, we'll banish the Genta, and we'll discard the gold. Banish the Genta, discard the gold. Draw 1 card. Snow, okay. Genta's effect will trigger to summon itself back, so will gold, summoning itself back. And now we're in actually a pretty good position. I'm not going to activate the Book of Eclipse. You probably could just set it to make it a 50-50. And then it does mean that if this all goes really, really badly, like your opponent's sitting on an Nibiru or something, you still have plays to make. So Reveal Nessie will be odds, and Snow will be evens. So we've got evens, we hit the Snow, nice. Nessie drops, Nessie draws. Snow's effect triggers. This will allow us to search out any DarkWorld card. Now at this point, I'm probably going to go for Ascension. Purely because I've got the Trade-In. If I didn't have the Trade-In, I'd probably do it a little bit differently as well. So we'll shuffle this up. We'll activate the Trade-In. We'll discard the Grepher, we'll draw 2. Now obviously it discards as cost, annoyingly, so we won't be able to get anything on that one. We haven't normal summoned yet, so I can Lava Golem my opponent's last 2 monsters. I've still got another Gate, but I haven't got another Fiend. Like, I could have kept this in the hand if I wanted to banish and do everything I need to, but we've still got good plays to make. Now, on this one, to get the Fiend back into my hand, what I can do is I can return... just trying to think of the best way of doing this. Let's return gold to the hand for Grepher. Now you've obviously got link plays you can start looking into if you want to. You can go for the Muttrucker kind of like lockout plays, but entirely up to you. So you can loop back more if you use your Grepher as material. So we're going to use that and go into Cross Sheep. And then what this will allow me to do is this will allow me to Grepher, bounce the Genta, summon Grepher back again, because it's not once per turn. Nice. Now I've got plenty of plays to make off of the gates. We'll activate a second gate. We'll discard the gold. And we will banish any fiends. So we'll banish Astral Karibo, I suppose. I don't really need this right now. There we go. We'll draw a random card. Bigfoot, nice. Gold will, of course, summon itself back. And now this is the part where you kind of need to keep in mind is that you're going to want to make a fusion monster for Cross Sheep to bring back a level 4 or lower. So you need to kind of be able to get the most out of it. Now, if I use a session right now with Grepher, I'm not getting the most out of it. So you kind of want to go into another link monster. Again, it's entirely up to you on how far you want to push it. So I'm going to go like Fiend Turbo. So let's get rid of... Gold is pretty strong. Let's get rid of... I need to get rid of gold. So we get rid of those 2. We'll go into the Muttrucker. And then what you've got here is you've got the ability to activate the discard effect off the Ascension, or you just use the banish effect. It really doesn't make too much of a difference here. You can also reveal Bigfoot if you want to push that bit further. You've also got the Muttrucker play as well. So we'll activate the Ascension just to guarantee that we've got everything we need to. So we'll banish the Grepher, and I'll banish one that I don't need. So for now, I'll banish the Ceruli. This will then give me my Grepher Fusion monster. And this will trigger, of course, Cross Sheep, which will allow me to bring back a level 4 or lower. And this will let me bring back Snow, or I can bring back Zephyros Elite. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. Now, to this point, it depends on where you kind of want to take this. Now, what I mean by that is you've got other rank 4 plays you can start unlocking. You've also got the ability of the Muttrucker to bring back a Fiend monster should you want to. It really depends on where you're trying to get to and how far you need to go. So we've already used pretty much this effect. I can now start using Snow and Zephyros or Nessie. And we'll go into the World Sea. Now, the thing you've kind of got to remember here as well with the World Sea is if I activate Muttcracker's effect, so what we'll do here is we'll use Muttcracker's effect, we'll target a Fiend in the graveyard, and we'll target Gold because it is the strongest one. We'll discard this effect, discard Bigfoot, using gold. This will then use the effect of Bigfoot to destroy the Lava Golem, because it's the only Fiend they've got. Now, if I'm really worried about what my opponent has, then I activate Zelantis, banish the entire board, and then I'm going to be attacking directly for 26, 13, and 35, because these 2 won't be able to come back because I'm locked into Fiends. By this point, you probably should have controlled everything, cleared everything off that you need to, and then that's going to allow you to pretty much push in for game. And that's where you kind of see it through here. Again, this is the OTK route, so I'm just showing you that even if you don't go for the rank 8 OTK, you still have ways of board clearing under an Eclipse, you still have ways of OTKing without going too deep into the extra deck if you wanted to as well, so plenty of options there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll shuffle these up, and I'm going to present a pretty standard Kash end board. So we'll go for the 1-card combo, and the 1-card combo is usually ending on an Arise Heart, so everything's getting Macrocosmoed banished. You're also ending on a Shangri-La, wherever Shangri-La may be. I'm not going to worry too much about materials, it will have materials on it, so I'm not really... I'm not going to try and destroy it by card effect, is what I'm saying. And then we'll do the assumption, that during the standby phase they've decided to special summon out Fenrir. Okay, so everything is basically under a Macrocosmo. Every time something gets banished, the Rise Heart is going to attach a material, and then once it gets 3 materials, it will banish. So for now, we'll go with Rise Heart having 1 material, as it is the base minimum that I would expect him to have by this point. We'll start with our opening hand of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, how many zones? I think throughout this play, if you don't go through the number 89 play, we're only going to have one zone locked. But if we activate anything, we'll start having more zones locked, so that's what we need to worry. So we've got one monster zone locked. Our 5 are these 5 here. Jesus, that's broken. And then we'll draw 6 a turn. So, I mean, I could have ideally stopped the Fenrir. Is during my draw phase, I can activate the Eclipse to Book of Moon these 2, and then Fenrir never hits the board. So it just gives me one less monster to deal with, which ideally you probably would do. So draw phase, obviously they're waiting for the standby phase. We'll activate Eclipse. We'll flip these face down. That's it. All my zones are now unlocked. Eclipse is gone, and now all I need to do is pick those apart. So I can instantly give them a lava golem, pick it apart, straight away done. So board broken successfully with 2 cards. And then my hand is pretty decent now as well. All I kind of don't want to lose is Astral Karibo. Now, Astral Karibo only locks you in from special summoning from the extra deck. So the ideal scenario in this is that I special summon down Astral Karibo. Jackalope reveal summons, hits Bigfoot. Bigfoot gets discarded, kills this. And then you kind of need to then get into like another level 8 is what you're aiming for. So, do I want to lose the Astral Karibo? I mean, it's no good to me right now until I get another level 8 on board. If I instantly get Bigfoot on board, I'm in great shape. So, it's just risky. If I use the Astral Karibo and call the wrong level, so if I call 4 and I don't get another 4 to the board, I don't play. Which can be very, very tricky. So we'll do it the smarter route. So we'll go Jackalope 1 to 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. Hit the 4, of course we do. Summon down Jackalope, draw 1 card, Rainbow, okay. We'll activate Bigfoot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6, Rainbow. Summon down Bigfoot, draw a card, Rainbow effect, triggers, searches out, and then this is where it gets good because you go... I mean, I could get another monster to the board, but I'm going to get that through Genta anyway. So we're going to go Greffa, we'll go Genta, discard, search out Gates, activate Gates, Gates effect, banishing the Genta, discarding Rainbow. Because we'll be able to do the second Greffa on the next field spell. So we'll go for gold. Obviously we draw a card, sorry actually. Boy, jumping ahead of myself. Shuffle it up to make sure it's fair. Draw 1 card. Rainbow, okay. And then we will resolve, bringing back the Genta. And then trigger the Rainbow, which will search us out. Silver or gold, doesn't make too much of a difference right now. And then of course you've got Rainbow in the graveyard, which is absolutely fine. So you use Rainbow's effect, you'll return the Genta to the hand, you'll summon the Rainbow back. You're then going to use Genta's effect again, and this is going to allow you to control what you send. So Gate, activate Gate, then use the effect of this one. Now this is where you want to put, I want to put Greffa in the graveyard, or do I want to put Silver in the graveyard? I mean, if I put Greffa in the graveyard, I kill the Lava Golem. If I put Silver in the graveyard, I want another way to get Greffa to the graveyard. I suppose I should play it safe and put Greffa to the graveyard, really, shouldn't I? So we'll activate that. We'll banish the Astral Karibo. And we will discard Greffa, because at the moment, technically, apart from crashing into Lava Golem, I'm not killing it. So we draw 1. Broken. Greffa's effect will pop the Lava Golem. Now, I could use Greffa to bring back the Rainbow, and then discard the Rainbow to search, or discard the Silver to search. Don't think it's necessary. I suppose we'll do it this way. So we'll do Greffa, bounce back the Rainbow. Greffa, link with Jackalope into Cross Sheep. Activate a session. Session will discard Silver and banish the Greffa. And this will summon back, or summon out, the Greffa Fusion. And then we'll have mandatory of Silver and then optional of Cross Sheep. So we'll bring back Silver. Annoyingly, we don't have another level 4 in the graveyard that can be special summoned because Genta's already been special summoned. So we have to bring back the Jackalope, which is absolutely fine. We still have a Rainbow in the graveyard, so we're going to upgrade the Silver into the Rainbow. And then what we can do here is we can activate the Accession effect to discard the Silver, which will summon itself back, adding the Accession back to the hand as well. And we've Lava Golemed. We've eclipsed our opponent's board. We're not worried about it. We've unlocked our board, and then that is game right there. So that is breaking a weaker Kash board. Now we're going to break a stronger Kash board. So the stronger Kash board is basically going to add one more monster to the end phase, or to the end of it, and we're going to have lost, we're going to have 3 zones locked. So it'll be Shangri-La, Rise Heart with at least 1 material, and we'll save the draw phase effect this turn just to be safe. And then it will be a Mind Hacker, and Mind Hacker would have looked at our extra deck. Now, honestly, from our extra deck, I would probably, I mean, you're either getting rid of the Dragula Bond that leads into the Numon Dragon or the Numon Dragon itself, or you're going to get rid of something like Zeus. So they would be my personal choices to get rid of. Honestly, because everything's in defense, I'd be more worried of Zeus. Well, technically that should be in defense. I would be more worried of Zeus than anything else. So I would personally lose the Zeus for this turn. And we're going to have 3 zones locked. So at the base minimum we have 1, 2, 3 zones locked. So we've got 2 more zones to play with. They're not going to really be touching our back row, so we should be good. Okay, so open hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Draw phase. Come on, Book of Eclipse. It's not Book of Eclipse. Okay, that's interesting. I've never wanted to hit Bigfoot off of a danger reveal more in my life. So, okay, that's very interesting. So draw phase, standby phase, they're going to special summon out Fenrir, so they've got a monster banish. Here's the interesting thing. So you reveal Bigfoot, you need to hit Bigfoot. If you don't, you Bigfoot summon, draw 1. I suppose you're digging. Alright, so we reveal Bigfoot. There's not really anything else I can do. Like, I could activate Gates if I wanted to, but I still need to banish a Fiend, and at the moment, everything going to the graveyard is going to get banished instead. So 1 to 6, and we really want a 1. We don't get a 1, we get a 6. So Rainbow gets banished. We will resolve Bigfoot, so Bigfoot will summon and draw. Not going to help us, because then what's going to happen here is mandatory chain link trigger 1. Attach a material, so attach one of the banished cards. And then chain link 2 will be Fenrir to target the Bigfoot to banish the Bigfoot. And then on a new chain, you'd be like chain link 1 this, chain link 2 this, and this would end up locking out the remainder of the zones. So we would still have dangers, could still technically be revealed, even though they can't be summoned because the outcome is not guaranteed. But yeah, we're not playing that one. Okay, cool. So now we're going to do another test, and just because that one failed, I want to kind of show you that the deck can consistently do it. And the only difference on that one was we lost Zeus. So let's reset that. We'll do the exact same plays as we did before. So it'll be a Rise Heart, a Shangri-La, and a Diablos with the imminent arrival of a Fenrir. So we'll do that, and we'll do this. So we'll shuffle this up. Yes, of course, the deck is designed that it needs to get its Lava Golem. It needs to see its Eclipse, which is why you play 2 and 2. It needs to be able to mandatorily trigger or be able to control the triggers of the dangers in the form of stuff like trading and everything else. It's not going to work 100% of the time. If it worked 100% of the time, this would be the best anti-meta deck around. But with what we've got, we're going to rock it and roll it. We're going to shuffle it up. And our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're in a better position now. And then our draw for turn will be 6. Okay, draw phase, standby phase, bring out Mac Daddy. Now, when you're facing the board down like this, what you've got to remember is you've got 3 zones locked already, okay? So your biggest threat on this board, like, you don't really worry about these too much. And what I mean by that is Fenrir can only be activated once. It's only going to be able to banish 1 face-up card, and only once that turn. Whereas everything constantly being banished for this deck is quite annoying, and to have the zones locked out is also quite annoying. So if you've got something like Lava Golem, straight away you're going to get rid of these 2, in my opinion. Some people might play it a little bit differently. Some people might even consider putting Ra Sphere mode in. But this board isn't always going to be the end-all be-all for what they have. Now at this point we're in an okay position. Like, we've got a very good combo off the back of the Genta and the Gate. You can of course activate the Catalyzer. This will summon the Catalyzer down. Our zones are obviously unlocked, and it will allow us to discard the Rainbow. What you're trying to do is you're trying to put your opponent in a position where when they banish one of your cards, that's the only interaction they have left, you're good to run rampant. So, I'm going to activate Genta. Genta is going to be able to search me out at Gates of the Dark World. Now, there's nothing on my board for my opponent to banish, so the Fenrir cannot be activated. There we go. Now, they can banish the Genta when I summon it back, but frankly, I don't really mind that too much. It's annoying, but I don't mind it. So we'll shuffle this up, we'll activate the gate, we'll then use Gate's effect, we'll banish the Genta as cost, and we'll discard the Rainbow as effect to draw 1 card. On resolution, we will then get Chainlink priority. So we'll go Chainlink 1 Rainbow, Chainlink 2 Genta. Again, they can't do anything on Fenrir to interrupt this chain unless they want to banish the gate, which in my opinion would be very foolish. So we resolve all of this. Genta comes back to the board, Rainbow's effect will trigger, and this will allow us to search out a monster. Now, I'm going to go for Grepher. The reason you go for Grepher is you can trade him, but you can also get it off of Danger Sukanoko to guarantee a pop. Now, you've also got Gate of the Dark World, which is probably something that I'm going to go for just to get rid of that Fenrir. Because now I put my opponent in this position of, you need to trigger the Fenrir effect to banish a pretty menial Genta, or I'm going to be able to get rid of it the next turn. You now know that I've got Grepher. You don't know I've got anything else. You know I've got Grepher. The assumption would be that this is the gate that I searched the first time. Now, I personally wouldn't, because I haven't got a normal summon, but I still play Dangers and everything else. So if you use a Fenrir to banish this, it's not a big threat to me. The next way that they can deal with it is when I activate Sukanoko, and then on the resolution of that, they could do stuff. But this kind of puts them in that predicament, because now what I'm going to do is, it's not an activated effect to bring these guys back. It just happens, and it's an inherent summon. So if they've got nothing on resolution, you just do it. Now, by doing this gives me the Genta back in hand. I've already got the second gate, so I'm now just increasing my danger plays. Alternatively, what you can do, and you will sacrifice a Rainbow for it, but you activate the second gate. Use second gate's effect. You banish the Rainbow as cost. You discard the Grepher as effect. You draw 1 card. Now again, at this point, I haven't activated any monster effects, so the Fenrir cannot be chained. I'll now activate Grepher's effect to target the Fenrir, and now it's too late for my opponent to do anything. So the only chance I had was to banish this when it summoned itself back. Now, this is going to resolve, destroying the Fenrir, and the board is completely clear. I've got everything I want, I need everything I've got, so we're now going to bring this back. We're going to bring back the Grepher. I've now increased my hand advantage. I might as well activate the trade-in now to put another Grepher in the graveyard and draw 2. And this has only just increased my hand playability. So I've got a couple of options here. Again, I can trigger the Catalyzer. The Catalyzer will allow me to discard the Genta and summon itself down. But there's no real benefit to doing that right now. So we're going to activate Sukanoko. So we'll go 1 to 5. 6 will be a reroll. It's a 2, so it hits a Sukanoko, which is fine because Sukanoko will summon itself back. Reveal Bigfoot. 1 to 4. 5, 6 will be a reroll. 1. We hit the Catalyzer, we summon down the Bigfoot. Bigfoot's effect lets us draw 1. Mothman, okay. Reveal Mothman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6, we hit the Mothman. I will draw and discard because I want to get that in the graveyard. There we go. So now Zephyros can use his effect. I've got a rank 8 there, which is my OTK route. So we'll bounce back, but I haven't used the discard effect of Bigfoot, so Bigfoot's probably safer. Reveal Bigfoot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6, we hit the Bigfoot, which is absolutely fine because now Bigfoot's effect can destroy one of these. Now, it's not gone the way I wanted it to go because we could have gone a lot further. But that's just the risk of the dangers. We've broken our opponent's cash board, so now we want to do is finish picking it apart. So, off of the Bigfoot, what would I like to destroy? I mean, I can kill this by battle. That's going to burn my opponent for 1,000. Well, I mean, all Fiend monsters are actually buffed, so I can't just crash it. So yeah, alright, we'll pop the lava. That's absolutely fine. It's a shame that we've got the 2 Gentas, and we opened up both our plays. Oh, sorry, I used Zephyros, but didn't even bring Zephyros back. Okay. How do we want to do this one? I haven't got the route to the fusion, but I do have a route to 6, 7. I can only get 7 free on board, which is a little bit disappointing. Can I get a rank 4 play? I can get a rank 4 play. It's not the nicest rank 4 play, but it is a rank 4 play. We're going to link those two together. We're going to go into the Muckracker. We're going to use Muckraker's effect. We're going to discard the Genta and we're going to revive the Catalyzer. The reason we're going to do this is we're going to overlay these two and we're going to go into Daguerre's effect. We'll detach 2. Ooh, actually, have I got OTK? Oh no, I can only double or revive. Alright, we'll draw 2, ditch 1. We'll risk Genta? A gold, okay. We'll discard the gold. Gold's effect will trigger, summon itself back. It's pretty funny, triple Genta. Gold can come back to the hand. We'll go down with the Greffer. And we'll just go battle phase. So this is on 13, so we'll kill this. This is on 15, this is on 3k. And that's kind of all you can do. It's a bit shameful because, you know, drawing into the Gentas, failing on a couple of dangers is the downside of it. However, we have broken our opponent's strongest cash board. Like, they locked our zones for free. Now, obviously, if you're worried about birth along the back, like if they've got birth or something, then you'll want to try and pick that off to make sure that doesn't, you know, doesn't come back to bite you in the backside, because technically they can just go, okay, cool, birth, bring back unicorn, do the whole thing over again. So that's something to be aware of. And that's how you change your play up a little bit. But it's just like a very mini demo to show you what the deck can do, how it can play around with it, what options it can give you, and the end boards it can produce. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you do have any questions, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. With all of that out of the way, as absolutely always, guys, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.